I'm at the corner of Sunset and Fairfax right now, and my car is in service, so I figured I'd walk around the neighborhood a little bit. There's a house that you see up on the hill over there. Now, tour guides who don't know what they're talking about will say that's Steven Spielberg's house. I've heard it's Ron Howard's house, but I can tell you for sure it was Lou Ferrigno's house in the movie I Love You, Man. That's a good gas station for celebrity spotting too. I saw Tommy Lee in there once, but I know I've seen paparazzi shots of celebrities filling up their gas there. Let's see. That Chase Bank is where used to be a Blockbuster, Winona Ryder's Blockbuster. That used to be a Kentucky Fried Chicken. This is a good celebrity spotting supermarket too, Bristol Farms, Halle Berry. We're now alongside a Rite Aid, and this used to be, God, what was it called? A drugstore, Thrifty, I think. Now, this parking lot, wow, I'm sure it won't be a parking lot for long. That's some prime ass real estate. But this came up in a couple of different stories. That's the Directors Guild there. The top of it looks like if you look down from the top, it looks like a reel of film. But this pharmacy, I was reading in a book a long time ago called The Ruby Slippers of Oz. It was all about costumes being stolen from studios. I would say liberated because they were taken mostly by a guy named Kent Warner, and he would call it stealing, but he was told to destroy a lot of things. And as he was on his way to an incinerator with a load of costumes, he noticed that one of the costumes was a coat that had Humphrey Bogart's name in it. So he saved it. Then he got the idea, I'll start saving more stuff. And if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have a lot of costumes. But it was, he would sell them to Debbie Reynolds. And they would meet in this parking lot and exchange stuff out of the trunk of her car. She'd pay him and commission him to steal stuff, liberate stuff for him. And that's where she got a lot of his collection from, Kent Warner. It's a great story. They had to make a movie about that. And also, there was an actress in the 60s and 50s by the name of Barbara Payton, who very famously hit the skids in a very big way and was turning tricks over here on Sunset. And they found her beat up by the dumpsters over here once. Hers is a terrible story. Poor Barbara Payton. I went to the house where she died in San Diego. And we were outside taking pictures of it. And I said, oh, isn't this where Barbara Payton lived? Because she goes, yeah, you want to come in? And we did. And she goes, you can go anywhere. So we wanted to go to the bathroom where Barbara Payton died. She said you could take pictures anywhere, but not in the bathroom. So, well, we did get to go in the bathroom. So, it's pretty busy around here. I'm going to stop this. I'm pointing out this ATM because this is where Hugh Grant withdrew money before he drove a few blocks further and picked up Divine Brown. See, this area used to be rife with prostitution. I used to say in the movie Pretty Woman, falsely perpetuated the myth that all the prostitutes were on Hollywood Boulevard. And most everyone knows they were here on Sunset Boulevard. And you know what a telltale sign is for prostitution in the neighborhood? I'm going to stop this because of this guy. Actually, I'll just move it like this. So a telltale sign, if there are going to be prostitutes in your neighborhood, are those signs right there. No turns between 11 and 7 a.m. That is because people, hookers, used to cruise around here. So, you see those signs? Either presently or used to be hookers, streetwalkers, whores. That's a cool building. I think this place used to do musical instrument repairs. I think I remember taking a clarinet here once, about 20 years ago. That Kodak sign is awesome. So yeah, this was Prosy Corner, Prosy Street. I'm going to stop this until we get to our next location. Actually, I'll take a sidetrack here, and I'll show you something cool. Bless you. Bless you. That is awesome. See, they make movies in this town, and a pretty iconic horror movie was called A Nightmare on Elm Street. The house is actually on Genesee, but here it is. This is the house where they filmed A Nightmare on Elm Street, the first one. They made several copies of it for the different incarnations of it. But this is the one where, at the end of it, Johnny Depp and the other ones were in a car parked right here. And the mom was waving on the porch to them. And there was a square in the door, a window in the door. And she got sucked through the door. It was a blue door. This house was completely redone a couple of years ago. It was, actually everything was gone except for these 3 panels you see out in the front. It was for sale, and I was on tour, and we just stopped the bus because it was an open house and walked through it and took a ton of pictures. And it was pretty poor shape. They have a swimming pool back there. It was in pretty poor shape. So somebody bought it, actually, redid it. It looks exactly like it used to. But it's completely new. Over there is the house that Johnny Depp was living in the movie, where he got sucked into the bed. So Nancy was looking out the top window, which I was able to do once, and over to Johnny Depp looking out of the top window there. Just steps off of Sunset Boulevard. Back to Sunset. Alright, there's the Chipotle. This used to be the all-American burger joint. It was not featured in Fast Times at Ridgemont High, but the chain was. The only thing that's still up there is the park sign that you can see there. It was used in the movie Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. In fact, Jordan the Lion, my buddy, just did a vlog and interviewed some of the people that were in that movie, which I'll link at the end of this. But this is where the prostitutes, this is sort of their center point here, because there used to be a payphone here. And so this is sort of their gravitational center point here. Much like that church in Whitechapel where the 10 Bells pub is. That used to be the homing beacon for the prostitutes. And these were the, I don't know what you want to say, female prostitutes. The ones that were male, that weren't dressed like, I don't know, what do you say? I don't know what they felt like. I don't know what they identified like. There were men that were wearing women's clothes. We called them something different, and I'll get in trouble if I say it. But this is where the females were. The men were over on Santa Monica Boulevard. Highland was sort of the tipping point between the boys and the boys who dressed like girls. East of Highland were the boys, and west of Highland were the girls. Still are, actually, on Santa Monica Boulevard, over by Shakey's Pizza. So this was Hookah Central. In fact, Divine Brown, the hooker that Hugh Grant picked up, it always said that it was the corner of Courtney and Santa Monica, which is what this is. And I had the opportunity to meet Divine Brown once, and I actually had a photograph of this intersection. I had her autograph it. So I doubt there's a lot of people that had Divine Brown's autograph on a photograph of the intersection where her name, where she was actually busted. Her name was Marie. Her real name was Marie Brown, but she went by Divine Brown. She said that they flew her over to England to do interviews after that to describe Hugh Grant's penis. She said that was the blowjob that put her kids through college. I'm going to stop this. Now, I showed you where it was that Hugh Grant picked up Divine Brown, but they were actually busted on this street. We're actually only, not far away from where it actually he picked her up. I just took the long way around. This is such cool, this neighborhood. But anyway, he picked her up over there and parked there, right where the wooden fence is by that garage. So I don't know why I know that. I don't know how I know that, but I do because I was here when it happened, and I remember specifically. In fact, I think it was this guy that lived in this house that told me where it was, because we used to do this on Graveline, on the Graveline. All right, I got to go back to Sunset. My car's going to be ready in a minute. So there's another one of those telltale signs. And I just remembered as I walked back up to Sunset Boulevard that Hugh Grant wasn't the only one that got busted with a prostitute. But Joey Buttafuoco, not very long afterwards, was busted for picking up a hooker behind that liquor store. This is about, I think, within a year of Hugh Grant. Nice. And you see that white building back there? That is the former Parisian florist, which will be knocked down soon. The one where Joe DiMaggio would have flowers sent to Marilyn's grave for 20 years. We interviewed them for Dearly Departed Volume 1. Nice people. Gone. They moved. They're still around. Now, this bar called the Pikey, which is gone now, closed down for good, unfortunately. It used to be a real dive bar called the Coach and Horses, and this was like another one of those. This was like another one of those Alcoholics Obvious dive bars. And this is where Barbara Payton used to drink all the time. Oh, look at that. They have a sign for Coach and Horses still here. I was in here once when it was the Pikey. It's a really nice place, but it wasn't the dive that it used to be. That's so cool that they kept the sign. But unfortunately, the Pikey didn't weather COVID. Rest in peace. This used to be Samuel French, the music people. You buy your sheet music here. All right, one more quick stop. This is the former Kentucky Fried Chicken I talked about. This is the former Blockbuster. And this street, as you can see, there aren't any palm trees on it. So we could be anywhere in the country. So the saying is, why go there when we have it? And Molina. So in 1978, the street was in Haddonfield, Illinois, when Jamie Lee Curtis was babysitting in this house on our right. This is the Doyle house in the movie Halloween, the original Halloween. And Jamie Lee Curtis was babysitting here. And also Back to School, Rodney Dangerfield. Here we are. No, it's real. So her friend was babysitting in that house. Jamie Lee walked over, found her dead friends. She ran screaming to this house. They turned on the porch lights, turned off the porch lights. Then she ran back to this house. She was locked out. She threw a flower pot to the top right-hand window. It's a busy street. And the little boy came down and opened up the door just in time for her to slam it on Michael Myers. So it took him probably, in the movie, 10 minutes to get from that porch to that porch. Now, if you watched American Horror Story, that political culty one, this is where the lesbians lived in that movie. And Billy Eichner lived in that one in the movie. I want to thank you for spending time with me today, and I want to thank the people who have signed up to my Patreon page below that have kept me going, because I am positively wasting down to nothing. So you've really helped me a lot since my job's in the crapper. Christine Wardor, Cheryl Harper, Lori Hilton, Jenny Vanderlicht, Ben Gleason, Chris Van Groningen, Douglas Wright, William Williams, Dale Scarset, Donna Spicuzza, Taryn Alexander, Shannon Daly, Jane Pennington, Kim Flett, Mike Schmeigel, Mike Bawden, Karen Beer, I miss seeing you, Karen, Miss Jenny Goodsman, James Harrington, and Katherine Johnson. Thank you all very, very much. Please subscribe below. Please hit the like button or dislike if you want, and I'll see you soon.